hours per square meter in 1 day. This, of course, makes South Africa as a prime location for the development of solar energy projects. In fact, the country has set a target of generating 18 gigawatts of renewable energy by 2030, and solar energy is expected to make up a significant portion of this target. And one last point, solar energy is also a more affordable option. Yes, solar panels may be costly to install depending on the size of your house. For example, an average house may use 6 to 14, 455 watts solar panels, and these may increase up to 23 for larger houses. But in the long run, they may be a cheaper alternative than Eskom. And lastly, in conclusion, it seems highly likely that solar energy will continue to grow in the coming years, driven by technical advances, declining costs, and supporting policies and programs. However, the exact growth rate is dependent on a variety of factors and therefore difficult to predict.
To carry on where she left on, I will be talking about how the solar panels work. The amount of sunlight that hits the Earth's surface is enough to handle the entire world's energy consumption for a full year. Solar energy converts sunlight into electrical energy, either through photovoltaic panels or through mirror that concentrate solar radiation. This energy can be used to generate electricity or be stored in batteries. Solar radiation is light, also known as electromagnetic radiation, that is emitted by the sun. While every location on Earth receives some sunlight over a year, the amount of solar radiation that reaches any one spot on the Earth's surface varies. Solar energies capture this radiation and turn it into useful energies. You might be wondering, what are these photovoltaic panels? There are two main types of solar energy technologies, namely photovoltaics and concentrating solar thermal power, which are: photovoltaics is the conversion of light into electricity using semi-conducting materials that exhibit the photovoltaic effect, a phenomenon studied in physics, photochemistry, and electrochemistry. The photovoltaic effect is commercially used for electricity generation and as photosensors. What is a concentrating solar thermal power? A concentrating solar power uses mirrors to reflect onto a receiver. The energy from the concentrated sunlight heats a high temperature fluid within the receiver. This heat, also known as thermal fluid in the receiver. Now, this heat is also known as thermal energy and can be used to spin a turbine or power an engine to generate electricity. It can also be used in a variety of industrial applications like water desalination and enhanced oil. Thank you.
Thank you, Lighthouse. Can the following presenters come forward?
Greetings to you all. Standing before you is Antinako Zingani. I am with my teammates Lesha, Smamkele, and Valente Somiha. We are from Kulani Commercial High School in Tanzania. Our project is a vital sign monitor.
This is to all. The vital sign monitor is a valuable tool to help to provide medical information such as heart rate, oxygen saturation, also temperature. One of the increasing popular public concern in human health, anything else becomes meaningless if one gets hurt, sick or dead. For this reason, people spend a lot of time spending money to keep sound health. Unfortunately, people always find that it's too late to receive serious medical help that is however, access to many medical equipment is inconvenient and expensive. Our project is not expensive because people always find hard to find help. Heart rate and body temperature are the most vital ones among the most notable indexes of the human health. Technology is being used everywhere and in our daily life to fulfill our requirements. Whatever it may be, finalized output is life has increased to employ serious problems. This idea is used to provide efficient health service to patient has given birth to project heartbeat and temperature monitoring, electing using LCD display technology. The functioning of this device is based on the truth that the blood circulates for every one heartbeat, which can be sensed by using a circuit formed by a combination of LDR and LED. Depending upon the rate of circulation of blood per second, the temperature is read by analog digital converter. My panel will tell you more about this project.
This proposed device has sensors that are incorporated together to sense the temperature, heart rate, and oxygen saturation. The process, the LDR records the oxygen saturation and other oxygen saturation and temperature and heartbeat, and then transform the information to the microcontroller. The microcontroller keeps the memory of this.
So I'll start by telling you the meaning of what LCD and LED stand for. So LCD is liquid crystal display, and it's a type of flat panel display which uses liquid crystals in its primary form of operation. And LED means light emitting diode. Lightning products produce light up to 90% more than incandescent light bulbs. And we can ask ourselves, how is our vital sign monitor different? So firstly, it's different because it is easier to carry. Second, it is not expensive. And last, unprofessional people will be able to use it. And the equipment and software used for the vital sign monitor is the major building blocks is regulated power supply, microcontroller, heartbeat sensor, temperature sensor, LCD with driver, LED indicators, and the software used is Arduino programming language. And my teammate is going to tell you more about the Arduino Uno.
The Arduino is the tool that helps to analyze everything that deals with heart rate, oxygen saturation, and also temperature. Arduino Uno will analyze input about how the results of your temperature. Example, if your heart rate is high, it will tell you that you can go to the doctor, and the doctor will help you. And also, the temperature, the OurNews opens a source of electronics platform based on easy-to-use hardware and software. Thank you.
May the following presenters be ready? Why guys are panicking? Fight like this, Babi. Why you guys are afraid? Can the next speakers come? And guys, remember, we are all learning. There's no information that is incorrect. So whatever you say here, say it with confidence. It's your information. You are the one who was doing the research. We're just here to learn tonight. Okay. So please, next speakers, please don't panic. Calm down and talk and be audible. Okay.
Good afternoon. Before I introduce myself, I'd just like to say that I've become so nervous in front of people that I've become so shaky. And as a coaches, thank you. So please understand that when I have glitches in the anyway. Introducing myself, my name is OurNews. Doing grade 11 to Loazi High School. So my project today that's based on medical cannabis and its health benefits and antidotes. I chose this topic because I feel like everyone should know about it, the benefits of cannabis. It's based on agriculture. I didn't choose okay, sorry. Okay, can I cut it off? So, starting with my methodology, my study will be based on the literature review because it has been a lot, there has been a lot of literature and scientific research that has been produced in the world. Some is false, some is true. They haven't proved it thoroughly. So, further analyze the data using the context of South African ailing health conditions. The study will be looking at the traditional and pharmaceutical medicine. So, talking about the literature, or rather say, the scientific research. There's been many research that have been wrote down during the centuries, and there are still others that are being researched based on cannabis oil and, in fact, cannabinoids, which they come in a form of 480, cannabinoids oil. Yeah, am I correct? I think so. So, This research, I just started it yesterday, so I don't have much information about it, but I'm just going to go through it roughly, like I'm going to summarize it in other words. Yeah. The reason I started it yesterday is because my fellow partner just dropped on me on the last minute. So I was panicking. That's why I had to just like draft it like so quickly, and I couldn't go through it in terms of reading it and understanding it. So going to the background of this cannabis industry, the relationship of cannabis and mankind is a long as creation. Cannabis, it's not a new invention. It's been passed down many years. It's been used before even the colonization of white people taking over the land of Africans. So the studies show that our human biological composition has natural cell receptors for cannabinoids called endocannabinoids, which is we have CB1 and CB2. Explaining CB1 receptor, it's found in the human central nervous system. It eases down your nervous system, just in the, okay, sorry. The CB2 receptor is found in the peripheral nervous system, especially in immune cells. And cannabinoids are rare organic chemical compounds found in scarce phonotype plants. SA laws banned cannabis in 1922 based on the psychoactive effect element, which was seen as detrimental to human health and behaviors. In 2018, the Constitutional Court ruled for the unbanning of cannabis plant for private and medical use. At that time, the pharaohs, or rather say the Greeks, were trying to burn down the cannabis, knowing very well that cannabis can be a medical use in humans, as I said before. They burned it because of as I was saying, the Constitutional Court, which is back in the days, the Constitutional Court was ruled by the Greeks. It was the time whereby I think I mentioned it. Why am I repeating it? Okay. So this herb of cannabis wasn't allowed to be used at that time, though knowing that it is useful, yes. So going to the purpose of cannabis, cannabis is proven to be treatment for any medical condition. However, there's a treatment for a widespread assortment of ailments, although it has been somewhat exhibited in recent times by a drive toward legalization. However, the medical benefits of cannabis is proven to treat chronic pain. Another comprehensive review of evidence published in the Journal Clinical Psychology Review, revealing the use of cannabis that helps people with alcohol or opioid dependencies to fight their addiction. Okay. I'm gonna explain it after reading it. So, nonetheless, it is said that there are also health risks and the use of cannabis that likely linked to experience suicidal thoughts and is a small increased risk of depression among cannabis users. From these above-mentioned debates, my studies seek to address the use of our land race cannabis in response to these feedbacks that despite the emergence over the past couple of years of very comprehensive up-to-date review of scientific studies evaluating the benefits and harms of the herb, it's clear that more research is needed to fully determine the public health implication of rising cannabis as a use in terms of medicine. So I'd say that yes, at home we do use cannabis in terms of headache pains, also the vapor of cannabis when you boil it, because some do boil it. If you have an asthma or, as mentioned, chronic pains. Also, there's a research that is said that it can also heal cancer, but it hasn't been analyzed thoroughly. So, going to the hypothesis, the research hoped to prove or synthesize the cannabis has been given a lot of stigma in the past, but however, now is prescribed in hospitals. It's now recognized in many countries as a medicine to heal a lot of ailments, so it is highly recommended. There should be more studies that sought to seek or investigate research based on our local land-based cultivars in terms of effect or impact ratio in mitigating antidote chronic ailments. Okay, so moving to the results. In its natural form, cannabis consists of two most well-known active chemicals, which is tetrahydrocannabinol, THC, and cannabinoid, which is CBD, as well as about 480 other active cannabinoids that are not yet well researched. #1 THC, that's delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol. This one, it is the most psychoactive cannabinoid found in the cannabis plant. And it is said to be the one that gets a person high. Its benefit is to provide, its benefit to provide for a pain relief, and stimulate appetite and treat eating disorders. And then the second one, which is CBD, cannabis oil. It's a nice psychoactive cannabinoid. Research such as it can help with inflammation, seizure disorders, and improve skin health. And then the third one, CBG, cannabigerol, called the mother of all cannabinoids. All cannabinoids start out at CBGA, inhibit the production of abnormal cell growth, which offers hope to potentially use CBG for treating cancer. Research has proven that cannabis can be health beneficial in whatever way we choose or suits the user. So we have edibles that are prescribed also, that are also prescribed in the local stores. Like for example, clicks, you can get it in clicks. So edibles, all the marijuana, gummy bears, and cookies available now, it might seem like they are relatively new invention. Okay. Also, there are also homemade brownies created for suffering AIDS patients in the 1980s. Edibles edibles offer a smoke-free alternative. And then in terms of medicinally, canola oil has recreation uses as well as medicine purpose. It offers a variety of health and wellness benefits. You just apply a few drops under your tongue like a cannabis tincture. Cannabis is prescribed in many forms, e.g. tablets, capsules, pharmaceutically, and as a traditional medicine. I think that's all for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can the next speaker come? Please, Akane Kase.
It has to be that side. Yo.
Speaking to the educators, teachers, learners, and everyone here, standing in front of you is Mutende Rafael from Pandura's Agricultural High School. So our topic is electrical energy deprived from wind turbine. Data in Boba in 2018 defined energy as the power deprived from the utilization of physical or chemical resources. Today we have two types of energy where we have non-renewable energy and renewable energy. Fossil fuels as non-renewable resources currently widely used and is keeping our planet under threat through climate change. Since the year 2007 in our country in South Africa, we have been experiencing load shedding. Renewable energies are in the front line. They are environmental friendly. Electrical outage is a major threat to our economy, livelihood, and people. Electrical outage is a major threat to our economy, education, people, and livelihood. These schools depend on electricity to pump water, cook food, and exercise, study time, evening classes. Pandura's is one of the boarding schools that experiences this crisis. Pandura's is an agricultural high school and is a hostel high school that has been experiencing load shedding for the past 4 months. The main factor of that is electricity-powered borehole being used to supply water at the school. The school has been lacking corresponding to the national load shedding schedule, meaning school could go up to 6 hours at a time without water, which has caused health and hygiene issues for both learners and staff. The school is also a hostel school, as I have noted, meaning students rely on the school nutrition, but without electricity, the staff and learners suffer as students cannot eat. Challenges. Global climate change is affecting every living organism. It puts livelihood into danger. This is caused by fossil fuels that we are using to generate electrical power. Over to my fellow teammate, who can elaborate more on renewable resources.
as Mark has said, we are using wind turbine to create electricity. Renewable energy as the solution of our problems. Renewable sources can be generated over time naturally, and they cannot emit the greenhouse gases. And for example, solar energy, wind turbines, geomethane, and biomass energy. And the disadvantage of this wind energy that it can be noisy when the winds cut through the air, and it can be dangerous for birds and other wild animals. And advantages of this wind turbine, it is clean, it doesn't emit, as I have said, it doesn't emit the house gases, and it helps with the budget. As my father has said, that other schools do not have electricity, and it can help with their budget to buy more food for providing for the students.
My name is Moses Mahana, and I'll be showing you a prototype of presentation about. See, it turns out one of our I'd like to permission to bring the project closer to the classes because the size of our I'll be using this headline to simulate the wind speeds of outside and supposing we're supposed to be a second moment here and not with the staying light like it was done. So my estimation is the movement side has pure wires and also magnets arranged in a pattern of north to south poles. And while those magnets spin around the pole while it turns the magnetic field which the magnets into their electrical field. This is then absorbed by the pole of a wire and then turned into electricity which is ready to be consumed.
Thank you, Tabla. Can we present the report?
the judges, greetings to the cameramen, greetings to the visitors here with us. I am Timbagazi Molomba, and this is my classmate, Simba Gembagani. Not only we are here representing ourselves, but also representing our school, Kulani Commercial High School. As our opening speaker has mentioned, that the theme was energy. We decided how about, there was a rhetorical question that we asked ourselves, but how about we design something that can help reduce the amount of energy being used on a daily basis. As we know, our well-known crisis, load shedding, we came up with a project with the battery. So the solar panel that works with the battery. The reason why it works with the battery is because typically a solar panel house it generates electricity from the sun, and nowadays there is global warming, weather is very unpredictable, changes more frequently. So the battery, the solar panel house, works with the battery. The battery comes head to head with the solar and helps generate more electricity. Why did we choose the battery? Why did we choose the battery? We chose the battery because the battery is not light dependent, and the solar panel house is light dependent. We did our research on the panel, and then we decided to use the monocrystalline. The monocrystalline helps the solar panel operate, and monocrystalline, one of the advantages of the monocrystalline is that it has the longest lifespan, about 40 years, I think, maximum. So my classmate Simone is going to tell us more about the monocrystalline.
Greetings to you all. So I'm going to first brief you about more of the panel. So the monocrystalline solar panel or monopanels are made from monocrystalline solar cells. Each cell is a slice of a single crystalline of silicon that is grown expressly for the purpose of creating solar panels. In the lab, the crystal is grown into a cylindrical log shape called an invert, and is then snapped into thin discs. So as we all know, a particular thing has advantages and disadvantages. So the disadvantages of a monocrystalline solar panel are that the monocrystalline solar panel are quite expensive. As you all know, everything has a target market. Monocrystalline solar panels are quite expensive, and there can be a significant breakdown in cases of panel being covered by dirt, snow, or shade. So you have to be careful to make sure you clean the panel.
And then we investigated more about the PFP battery that we are working with. Discovered that panels make more sense with a battery, but the panel vendors avoid telling customers that. The PFP battery that we are working with has a lot of advantages. One of them is that the battery it has an entire bank wired fuse. It is vented, waterproof, temperature controlled, longer lifespan than any other batteries. It can automatically recharge itself, and then when you install, automatically recharge itself, and with an NP hours to satisfy one's basic need. The battery, as I said, comes head to head with the monocrystallized and helps operate even on bad weather. So after that, we also discovered that there is a very high rate of panels being stolen in South Africa. We then decided how about we put on a detector on the battery that helps inform the owner of the battery when someone tries to steal the battery. So the detector, it works as typically as any other detectors would. If the owner switches it on, it can try and detect footsteps of someone trying to steal it, and then inform the owner, and then the owner will take the more steps about it.
So the detector we chose is an ultrasonic transducer. An ultrasonic transducer or ultrasonic sensor are devices that generate or sense ultrasound imaging. They can be divided into three broad categories: transmitters, receivers, and transceivers. What is an ultrasonic sensor used for? An ultrasonic sensor is an electronic device that measures the distance of a target object by emitting ultrasound waves and converts the reflected sound into electrical signal. Ultrasonic waves travel faster than the speed of audible sound, which is sound that can be heard by humans. So we decided that for this particular issue, we're going to use edge detectors so that the sound that is emitted by the ultrasonic sensor can be easily heard by humans. So another thing we did is that we tried to investigate if the ultrasonic sensor can hear facial recognition, so that if someone tries to steal the panel, they can be recognized. Then if you're okay, let's go for my test sit here for Ukali Alan, which is this ultrasonic transducer. If we already like this, what if I see a pan, you can back so that you know was to make the alarm. Because they have to go to Spain and they time here. As about on by some name at as about the alarm, never very good at having to. So, the alarm is about to switch off without you owning as well.
We will be very honest if the judges will consider our project so we can change people's lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Kulani. The next speaker come forward, please.
International and controlled power outages implemented by utility companies to prevent the collapse of the electricity grid during times of high demand. This practice is often employed in countries where energy supply is unable to meet the electricity demand. Load shedding has a significant impact on individuals, businesses, and disrupting the communities and causing inconvenience. It can lead to productivity losses and affect the economy as well. However, load shedding is a necessary evil to ensure the stability of the energy grid. Sustainable measures such as investing in renewable energy sources and improving electrical infrastructure are essential in mitigating the frequency and duration of load shedding. So the solution to this problem of load shedding is to use the biomass image. Biomass energy is a form of renewable energy that harnesses energy from organic matter such as plants, agricultural residues, and animal waste through various processes. As the world looks for sustainable solution to combat climate change and reduce the dependence on fossil fuels, biomass energy has emerged as a viable alternative that offers several advantages over conventional sources. The use of biomass for energy production is not a new concept. In fact, it has been utilized over centuries in the form of cooling wood for cooking and heating. However, with the advancements in technology, biomass energy has evolved to include more sophisticated processes such as anaerobic digestion, gasification, and pyrolysis, which allow for the extraction of energy-rich gases, liquid and solid fuels. These fuels can then be used for electricity generation, heating, and even transportation. Biomass energy is also known as bioenergy. It's derived from organisms such as plants, animals, and wood. It has been used for centuries as a source of heat and energy, but it is only in recent years that its significance has got attention in the field of science. The history of biomass energy dates back to ancient civilization. For example, the ancient Egyptian burned crops residues to generate electricity. The background of biomass highlights its long-standing history as a renewable and accessible source of energy. The aim of biomass energy in science is to harness the power of organic matter and convert it into usable energy such as heat, electricity, or liquid fuels. This renewable resource can reduce the reliance on fossil fuels and mitigate climate change by reducing greenhouse gas emissions.
Yes, you all may use some use by messaging biomass energy refers to the use of organic materials such as plant and animal waste to generate heat and electricity. It has become increasingly popular overall during recent years due to its numerous advantages over traditional form of energy. First and foremost, biomass energy is a renewable source of energy. As plants and animals are constantly being grown and produced, there is an endless supply of biomass material. But this is in stark contrast to fossil fuels, such as coal, which are finite resources that take millions of years to form. By utilizing biomass energy, we can reduce our dependence on fossil fuels and mitigate the negative environmental impact associated with their extraction and combustion. Furthermore, biomass energy is a carbon neutral form of energy generation. When plants grow through photosynthesis, they absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. When these plants are burned for energy, they release the same amount of carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. This creates a closed carbon cycle. Where the emissions from burning biomass are the offset of the carbon dioxide absorbed during plant growth. This is a significant advantage over fossil fuels, which release carbon dioxide trapped for millions of years, contributing to climate change. In addition, biomass energy has the potential to reduce waste and improve waste management practices. Organic materials such as agricultural waste, forest residues, and food scraps can be easily converted to biomass fuel. By utilizing these materials for energy generation, we can divert them from landfills, reduce methane emissions, and minimizing the need for disposal waste sites. Another advantage of biomass energy is that it can contribute to rural development and job creation. Biomass energy products often require processing, collecting, and transportation of a biomass fuel, which could create job opportunities for people in rural communities. This can help stimulate economic growth in these areas and provide income for local farmers and workers. Biomass, just like any other, while biomass energy has gained popularity in recent years due to its renewable nature and potential to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, there are several disadvantages associated with its utilization. One of the significant drawbacks of biomass energy is its impact in the environment. Burning organic material releases carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases, contributing to climate change. Additionally, the production and transportation of biomass fuel requires large amounts of water, fertilizer, and energy, which could strain natural resources and contribute to pollution. This emphasizes the need to transition to more sustainable biomass sources, such as agricultural residues and dedicated energy crops. Furthermore, biomass energy can also have adverse effects on biodiversity and land use. Large-scale biomass cultivation can result in deforestation and habitat destruction, leading to the loss of valuable ecosystems. To address this issue, it is crucial to prioritize the use of marginal and degraded land for cultivation of biomass. Additionally, sustainable harvesting practices must be implemented to ensure the long-term viability of biomass sources and protect biodiversity. Another disadvantage of biomass energy is its cost competitiveness over fossil fuels. Although biomass is a renewable resource, the technology required to convert it into usable energy can be expensive to develop and maintain. To overcome this challenge, governments and research institutions should invest in research and development of advanced biomass conversion technologies such as gasification or pyrolysis, which can improve energy efficiency and reduce cost. Lastly, the intermittent nature of biomass energy production poses a challenge for its integration into the existing electricity grid. Unlike fossil fuels, biomass availability can vary due to weather conditions and seasonal changes. This requires the utilization of energy storage systems or the development of smart grid technologies to effectively manage the fluctuating energy system. Just like any other energy source, biomass has its limitations. Understanding these limitations and finding ways to improve and overcome them is vital for successful integration of biomass energy into our current energy system. The first limitation is the availability of biomass. Biomass resources are distributed. Biomass's availability may vary depending on geological location, climate, and agricultural practices. This can limit the scalability and reliability of biomass energy. To overcome this limitation, it is essential to invest in sources that are region-specific and consider array of feedstocks that can be sustainable or procured. The greenhouse gas emissions is the second limitation of biomass energy. While biomass fuel produces less net carbon dioxide emissions compared to fossil fuel, the combustion of biomass still releases carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. To address this issue, it is crucial to deploy advanced combustion technologies like gasification or pyrolysis, which can significantly reduce emissions by maximizing energy efficiency and capturing and storing carbon dioxide. The last limitation is competition for land and water sources, which can lead to conflicts with food production and water scarcity. To mitigate this challenge, a holistic approach is required. This includes promoting the use of non-food biomass feedstocks, utilizing agricultural waste or residues, and implementing sustainable farming practices. In conclusion, biomass energy is an important alternative to fossil fuel and holds great potential for sustainable development and growth. It is a renewable energy source as it utilizes organic material. Biomass energy also helps reduce greenhouse gas emissions and contributes to mitigation of climate change. Furthermore, the production of biomass energy can create local jobs and boost rural economies. It provides opportunities for agricultural communities by utilizing crop residues and other organic waste, turning them into valuable energy resources. This not only reduces waste disposal problems, but also leads to economic benefits for farmers. However, the widespread adoption of biomass energy still faces challenge. Issues such as finding efficient and cost-effective ways to convert biomass into energy, ensuring sustainable feedstock supply, and minimizing environmental impacts need to be addressed. Additionally, the competition between food and energy crops for land use should be carefully managed to avoid negative impacts on food security. In summary, biomass energy has immense potential as a renewable energy source that can contribute to sustainable future. Continued research and development efforts are vital to overcome existing challenges and optimize the use of biomass resources for energy purposes. It is imperative that policymakers and stakeholders work together to foster the growth of biomass energy in order to achieve a cleaner and more sustainable energy system. Thank you.
The next speakers come forward, please.
Extending our most sincere greetings to the House of Lord, standing before you is Latika Ilanga Chiri. This is Ziziko Feki and Uili Tasion, and we are from Team Westland. Well, we have decided to come with
three different, not one, but three different types of renewable sources of energy, because we believe in pushing the limits and also exploring all the possibilities. Now, without wasting any more time, I'd like to get straight to the point. Beyond to the shoreline, embracing tidal energy for a brighter tomorrow. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we gather here today, we find ourselves facing an escalating energy crisis that has definitely cast its shadows over our daily lives. Load shedding, the term that has become all too familiar. Ladies and gentlemen, not only is load shedding the load shedding at first was declared as a situation that is only temporary, but we can all relate to the fact that it's becoming rather more permanent. And if we do not try to change the situation, it will become permanent, ladies and gentlemen. So a brief background. So ultimate causes of load shedding are insufficient power generation, unforeseen power plant outages, growing energy demand, and also, last but not least, dependence on fossil fuels. So load shedding serves as a stark reminder of the delicate dance between our energy needs and also the constraints of our power systems. So load shedding compels us to keep striving for smarter, more sustainable, and also renewable solutions to keep the lights on and the world moving forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, during load shedding, people resort to using backup generators, and this can generate harmful emissions, contributing to air pollution and also environmental degradation. So, load shedding poses a significant risk to those that actually depend on oxygen machines that rely on electricity, ladies and gentlemen. So, people with medical conditions requiring continuous conditions of oxygen therapy are rather much more vulnerable during power outages, ladies and gentlemen. So in order to mitigate these challenges, as the citizens, the government, and also the energy authorities, we need to work together hand in hand in order to improve the generation and also invest in renewable sources such as tidal energy. So, the aim of using tidal energy, ladies and gentlemen, is to harness the power of ocean tides and convert it into a reliable and also renewable source of electricity. So, tidal energy has the aim or the objective to be a renewable power generation. So, tidal energy offers a clean and also renewable alternative to fossil fuels, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and also combating rather ending climate change, ladies and gentlemen. Also, last but not least, sustainable energy source. So tides are rather predictable and also consistent, meaning that the predictability, it allows for accurate planning and also integration into the power grid. So tidal energy has a high energy density. So tidal currents have absolutely much more energy than wind or other solar resources, ladies and gentlemen, meaning they can produce significant amounts of power from relatively small installations. So by using the kinetic energy from the ocean tides, we can definitely generate a consistent and reliable supply of electricity without depleting the Earth's natural resources, ladies and gentlemen. So how does tidal energy work? So tidal energy works via a turbine. That it definitely works like a wind turbine that we are all familiar with, but the difference is the fact that it works with winds, ladies and gentlemen, like wind. So the turbine has a blade, this blade right here, that rotates 12 to 18 times per minute, depending on tide strength. So the turbine is then connected to a gearbox that turns a generator, generating electricity. So using tidal energy as our renewable source of energy, ladies and gentlemen, also ensures that economically we are sorted, meaning that people will be getting employment at the coastal areas. Basically, that will be killing two birds with one stone. Firstly, getting employment. Secondly, getting electricity, ladies and gentlemen. So it is quite important for us to also acknowledge the disadvantages of using tidal energy. So one of these disadvantages is the cost of the initial capital of the tidal turbines, but through thorough research, planning, and also analysis, these disadvantages can definitely be sorted out. So the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. Therefore, indeed, tidal energy is the future for our energy. Thank you.
Geothermal energy. So there are multiple ways in order to generate electricity using renewable resources. And the one I'm going to focus on today is geothermal energy. Geothermal energy is a renewable and sustainable energy source that is generated from the earth, within the earth. It is using the heat from the Earth's layer called the crust, which is about 2,900 kilometers below the Earth's crust. So by using geothermal energy as a renewable source, we believe that it could reduce load shedding in South Africa. As it provides a consistent supply of energy. So our aim is to reduce the impending impact load shedding has on South Africa by using renewable resources as a power generating okay. So you may ask, how does geothermal energy work? So firstly, a well is drilled in a known geothermal reservoir, whereas typically an injection is also drilled in a known geothermal reservoir in order to pump back the used geothermal fluid back into the geothermal reservoir. Secondly, hot pressurized geothermal fluid expands rapidly and provides mechanical energy in order to turn the blades of the turbine shaft. So rotational energy from the turbine shaft then spins the magnets in the large coil in order to create electric current. The turbine and generator play an important part in generating electricity in a geothermal system. So there are obviously advantages and disadvantages in any renewable resource. So I'm going to start by listing the advantages of the geothermal energy system. So geothermal energy is renewable and sustainable, which is an important point. And we say it is renewable and is sustainable because it harnesses heat from the Earth's core, and it is continually produced by natural processes, which makes it renewable and sustainable. Secondly, it is more environmentally friendly than other resources like coal or fossil fuels, as it produces less or no carbon at all. So another advantage is that no fuel is needed for geothermal energy in order to generate electricity. So it kind of makes the process of generating electricity easier. Though the one disadvantage about the geothermal system is that in order to maintain its sustainability, used geothermal fluid has to be pumped back faster into the geothermal reservoir faster than it is heated.
Load shedding is not just an interruption of power, but instead it is a disruption of progress and a reminder of our own energy vulnerabilities and a call to embrace renewable energy solutions for a brighter and sustainable future. With that being said, I'd like to extend my greetings to Floyd Lawn. Standing before you is Ulilita Naledision. We stand before you with a dilemma that we're facing as South Africa, which is load shedding. It is an ongoing period of widespread national blackout of electricity supply, of which people are all suffering from. But problem that we're facing as South Africa, because there are so many solutions. When there is a problem, there's always a solution. So we as West Bank have identified the problem as our over-independence as the citizens of South Africa on one source, which is the coal. It makes us the vulnerable actors of the supply disruptions. So what we have identified is that if we are only depending on the coal to produce electricity for us, this is making us vulnerable. So, for example, if there is shortage of coal or there is maintenance problems in the coal-filled plants, we are most likely to get damaged or to get affected by the disruptions. But what alternatives do we have? What other ways can we look for? Because this is not only the source that we can use to produce electricity. So, we have came up with 3 of the sources that we best believe that they are sustainable and in the long term run they will not disappoint. So, as my first speaker has mentioned, the tidal. It is also part of the hydropower source of which I will emphasize on, and my second speaker has mentioned the geothermal. So, what do we have here? Our main goal, as my second speaker has mentioned, is that our main goal is to reduce the impending impact of the load shedding in which it has on South Africa. And not only to reduce the impending impact, but also to find a sustainable and renewable source of energy of which we can depend on. So, we have identified the hydropower energy, of which I kept this picture to show you. How does this work, ladies and gentlemen? If we could build dams or barriers, we can see there is a reservoir that can allow water to flow down here. And then with all this, as water flows in the reservoir, it is generating electricity. So this is way more sustainable because it works with the energy of water, not dependent on the climate, which is the sun for solar, not dependent on the coal, which runs out and we have shortages. So we decided to use something that is sustainable, something that we have in the ocean, and something that is going to help even in the villages. For example, ladies and gentlemen, if we use this source, this is a source that uses water. So in the villages, not only will they be able to get electricity, but also water, of which they have shortage in. So, as my first speaker said, it's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So, how compared to other electricity sources, hydropower has relatively low costs of power through the generation. So, why do we think this is sustainable compared to other sources? So we have identified the expenses and the costs that the other sources use, like the solar panels, of which they are very much expensive. Yes, this is not going to be cheap too, because we see that it's a bit complicated. But since hydropower is a site-selective technology source, it can be, the prices can be discussed and based on the location and based on the design that is going to be used. And however, the equipment of hydropower facilities often operates for a longer period of time, and they do not need repairs. They do not need replacements, which is then saving money for the country. Don't we need that? So, the benefits of hydropower have been recognized for hardness for thousands of years, in addition to being clean and cost-effective form of energy. So we see that water is not very damaging, of which it has barriers. So it can also control floods and extended problems when we face them as a country. This, ladies and gentlemen, has been promoted and implemented in other countries, not only in South Africa, like the Greeks. It's also been implemented in Washington, of which Washington, we should take note of that. Washington is the most country that has the lowest bills of electricity. Why? Because this is a sustainable source of energy. So why should we not use it when we have high bills of energy and then Washington has high bills of electricity? So we will switch to this hydropower source. With that being said, I'd like to step down. Thank you.
the following speaker.
Greetings to you all. Standing before you is Lieutenant Settlement, coming under the premises of Hector Peterson High School. We are here to present our idea of the future, the idea that can change our nations and become a better place. I want you in this minute to think out of the box. Think about the future and think about how this idea can change people and make them independent. This idea is about a Tesla coil that was designed by Nikola Tesla. But we are coming with a new version that has the Tesla theory and has new energy advantages that can make those effects that were done in first generation of the Tesla coil be away. So I would give my second speaker to speak more further about this idea that can change our lives. Thank you.
So my name is Norman Jesus. I'm here to proceed what my fellow teachers share. So a Tesla coil is a device that generates very high voltage. Where the voltage is a measure of how much energy does an electric charge raise. So the large Tesla coil such as the water tower generate more than a million volts over a low current. So Tesla coil is a radio frequency oscillator that drives the echo down tuned to the main transformer to produce high voltage with low currents. So to build the basic Tesla coil, we need electric components such as transistors, capacitors, and resistors. And we also need mechanical parts such as copper, wire, and a power source. But the power source, we have discovered that power source is going to be insufficient because it is going to need electricity in order to generate this power. So, in the place of the power source, we inserted some PSV cells that are going to generate electricity from the sun, example of the solar panels. So, the disadvantage of the Tesla coil is that transmitting power over a long distance with a single Tesla coil is impossible, but by inserting another Tesla coil over a distance of 7 miles within another, it's going to improve. So here's some electric structure of agriculture. Electric structure are going to use without using electricity and batteries. It's going to automatically charge by the Tesla coil without any power cable. So I'm going to skip my
Greetings to the house at large. The one standing before you is Munjana Vyasika. I'll take this moment to pitch an original idea that was made by us. We know that the agricultural sector is one of the most important sectors in South Africa. It is essential for fostering economic growth, reducing poverty, and improving the food security in the Southern African region. In 2020 alone, the agricultural exports generated over $10.2 billion, a 3% increase from the prior year. This might seem like it's a better thing, but it is not, because there are still challenges being faced in the agricultural sector. The challenges faced by farmers tend to be lack of advanced techniques and technologies, limited access to water resources, and unpredictable weather patterns and climate. What if I were to tell you there was a device idea that could obliterate all these challenges? I present to you OurNews. Though the design of the thing hasn't been made yet, the idea has already been laid and the groundwork is already in progress. This is an image of what it could look like, as there is no design for the OurNews. Therefore, the OurNews will have these following features. Water management system. Efficiently managing water resources through smart irrigation techniques, reducing water wastage. It monitors soil moisture levels, ensuring irrigation of different crops, preventing crop losses. It has real-time data on water usage, allowing farmers to make informed decisions. The second feature being pest and disease detection. Utilizes advanced sensors and AI algorithms to detect pests and diseases early on. Sends alerts to farmers on crop losses, reduces reliance on harmful pesticides through targeted treatment. Third feature, weather forecasting. Integrates with local weather stations to provide accurate forecasts, helps farmers plan their activities accordingly, reduces risk with unpredictable weather patterns. We believe that this device will benefit the agricultural industry in South Africa by giving increased crop yields and quality, efficient use of water resources, reduced water scarcity issues, early detection and prevention of pests and diseases, minimizing crop losses. Enhanced decision making through real-time data and weather forecasts, as well as improved profitability for farmers. But this could only be possible if a collaboration with the government bodies, agricultural organizations, and research institutions is made. This will help in providing programs to farmers on device usage and maintenance, as well as financial incentives or subsidies to encourage adoption. This will not only decrease the challenges faced, the agri-boost will generate large amounts of equity. We'll go from being a country that has good agricultural products to a country that has best agricultural products. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our last presenter, can you please come forward?
Good morning to all people. Proud standing before you is I, Manatin Tutu, and join with. So, the topic of our research is sustainable energy saves the planet. But let's take a turn to our country, South Africa. We all know that South Africa is undergoing an energy crisis, with the country struggling to generate enough electricity to meet demand. This has manifested in successive rounds of load shedding. A statement which should be national imperative for all stakeholders as we try towards setting our country back on course for growth, but it's not only about keeping our lights on, but much more. We all know that this is even in view with the use of non-living resources such as coal, which contribute to certain environmental changes, including the contribution to air pollution, which causes certain health issues, water pollution through ash, and global warming, which leads to other various climate changes such as extreme weather, and acid rain. But having you also said, what if certain energy was being increased?
Now, sustainable energy is energy that can be renewed. Renewable energy sources such as wind power, hydroelectric, solar, and geothermal energy. Our main focus today is on wind power.
What is wind power?
Wind power is considered a sustainable energy source that is used from the wind turbines. Wind turbines are generally produced or placed in wind farms. Historically, wind farms or wind turbines have used sails, windmills, and windpipes. Today, wind turbines are generally generated for electricity. Now, the benefits and challenges of wind energy. Wind energy offers many advantages, which explains why it's one of the fastest growing energy sources in the world. To further expand wind energy's capabilities, researchers are working towards facing the challenges and socio-economic and technological challenges in the planet that are caused by wind energy. Now the benefits are as follows. Wind power creates good paying jobs. There are over 120,000 people working in the US. Wind power is a clean and renewable energy source. Wind power turbines harness energy from the wind using mechanical power to spin a generator for creating electricity. Not only is wind an abundant and inexhaustible resource, but it also provides electricity without burning any fossil fuels. Wind energy helps avoid 329 million metric tons of carbon dioxide emissions, which is equivalent to 71 million cars worth of emissions that, along with other atmospheric emissions, can cause acid rain, smog, and greenhouse gases. Wind power is cost effective. Land-based utility-scale wind turbines are the lowest price energy cost sources available today. Further, wind energy cost competitiveness continues to improve with advances in the science and technology of wind energy. Now, the challenges of wind power are as follows. Wind power must compete with other low-cost electricity resources. When comparing the cost of energy associated with newer power plants, wind and solar projects allow more economically effective than gas. Geothermal, coal, and nuclear facilities. Next generation technology, manufacturing improvements, and a better understanding of wind plant physics can help bring costs down even more. Ideal wind sites are often in remote locations. Installation challenges must be overcome to bring electricity from wind farms to urban areas where it is needed to meet demand. Upgrading the nation's transmission network to convert areas with abundant wind resources to population and could significantly reduce the cost of expanding land-based wind energy in addition to offshore energy transmission and grid interconnected capabilities are improving. Wind turbines work in different settings. Wind energy generation fits well in agricultural and multi-use working together. Turbines produce noise and alter visual aesthetics. Wind farms have different impacts on the environment compared to conventional power plants, but similar concerns exist both the noise produced by the turbine blades and the visual impacts on the landscape. Wild plants impact on in-plant local wildlife. Although wind projects lower than other energy developments in wildlife impacts, wind turbines harm wildlife because of the spinning blades, which are dangerous to birds flying by and other local wildlife.
So let me tell you more about how to set up, meaning its methods. So I will also include parts within the wind turbine and what it means. So firstly, as I've already mentioned, in order to utilize kinetic energy of the wind and convert it into electrical energy, the use of wind turbines is necessary. The optimal use of these turbines depends on the strength. For this reason, wind farms which pull a large number of wind turbines have to be situated in places where wind conditions are predominant. Number one, the wind turbines have to be oriented in the direction of the wind facing the wind, which is done by means of a vessel on the field. From there on, the force of the currents set up 3 megawatts of the wind turbine into motion. From number 1 go to number 2, which happens in about whole which are composed by 3 planes and the motion that joins them together. Its function is to capture the force of the wind and convert it into mechanical rotational energy. From the rotor, we go to the multiplier. The multiplier is an element that is connected to an engine by means of a shaft. Its function is to increase the rotational speed from 30 revolutions per minute to 1,500 revolutions per minute. From the multiplier, go to the generator. This element is responsible for converting the mechanical energy of rotation into electrical energy. As you see, we have already made electricity. But lastly, each of the wind turbines within a wind farm are linked together through underground cables that carry the electricity to a transformer substation. From there on, the electricity is transported to our homes, schools, farms, factories, and among other recipients. It is transported through the distributional lines of various companies. So, let me tell you why do you think it is the best. I will include the comparison with solar and hydro power. Wind is not only an abundant inaccessible resource. Wind turbines release less carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Wind turbines produce 4.64 grams of carbon dioxide, while solar panels produce 70 grams of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, harming our health. So, from there on, wind power consumes less energy compared to solar panels, but in overall produces much more energy. Conventional hydroelectric system is beneficial because it is a renewable and clean resource.